Please, welcome to AmassGames. My name is Simon. Today we're looking at Battle Line Medieval by Knizia. This is by GMT Games and by Roland's Revenge. Now, if you've seen my other video for Shod and Totten, it's extremely popular. This is extremely similar as well, as many Knizia games can be. Also Lost Cities as well. And check out my Knizia playlist. Check out my AmassGames playlist. I have a set up play and review playlist, family weight game list, and two-player playlist games. That's all going in all these ones as well. So we're aiming to control either 5 of these battle lines, or trying to control 3 if they happen to be next to each other. Now, they pretty much all will fit in, but whilst I'm still setting up, make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you haven't done so already. Also head through to watch the various other videos on playlists I've already mentioned about, and we're going to deal 7 cards to each player. Now, whilst I'm doing this, also make sure you head through to the comments on YouTube. It's the best place to obviously join the discussion, as it does get shared, as I mentioned. Also head through to join the discussion over on Facebook. Loads of Instagram photos as well, over 3,000 posts at time of recording. And also you can join, support the channel via Patreon. And lastly, head through to Linktree, where there are occasional competitions, but are time sensitive, so they do disappear. And of course the podcast. So you have 7 cards each. What can you do? Well, there's a number of things you can try and do. Again, you're trying to control these locations. We also are trying to get these formations out as well. So what we see over here is what we're looking to do, and ultimately various cards we can come out. Now, initially we're going to just cut the deck to see who starts. So I might draw 1, they might draw another one. So we go again a 7 and a 3. So whoever actually has the highest cut can go first, otherwise you can pick. Take away your cards, shuffle them up, make sure they are well shuffled before you start playing, because these cards will naturally group. And organise your cards however you wish. I tend to do it by suit, or basically banner type. Be very careful that that red and yellow is yellow and red, but there are different, of course, banners as well. And in this case, I think we can see that we've got only 4 different suits out presently. Okay, so I'm going to play out a card. I need to play out a card, and then after that you'll see how it's going to work. So I'm going to play out, let's say, an 8 here. Okay, so I've played out an 8. Now what I can do is I can either draw a tactics card, and that's going to stay in my hand until I play it out. I cannot play out a second one if I have played 1 out until my opponent has also played 1 out, in which case it's basically clogging up my hand if I've got an extra one. In this instance, what this allows me to do is I can play this card as any troop card, so I can play it as another 8 as an example. I'll tell you why I may want to in a moment. So instead of taking one of these cards, I can take another one of these cards. Again, we'll figure out how the scores go as we go along. So now it's their turn, and what they can see is, well, currently I have an 8. Now if I can get 3 of a kind, I can claim this, unless they play a higher 3 of a kind. So if they play 3 9s, then they will win. These cards do go up to a 10 as well, so it's 1 to 10. However, just because I played 3 8s, let's say, they could beat it, playing a 1, 2, 3 of the same banner. Aside from that, you can also get a flush, which is 3 of these same banners as well, so these red, yellow diagonals. You can also get a straight, so just a 3, 4, 5, or in this case a 6, 7, 8 of any banners. And lastly, you can get a sum, so that's the lowest of the options you can do to try and win this one. So let's say they play whatever this card is, they have a 9, oh, let's say they play it there. Now at this point, have I got anything suitable here? I might play another 8. Now immediately, they now know that they will need to play 2 9s, and then obviously a third 9 to claim it, or what they'll need to do is realise that if they can't get the 9s, because imagine all the other 9s have come out, they'll have to go for a straight flush. So they'll need a 7 and an 8 of this particular green and yellow one, or 8, 9 and 10. Of course we can't do that because the 8's already gone. So that's a great or a terrible move what they did, or what this guy did. Having said that, maybe like in Lost Cities, you want to hold that card back, knowing that they're trying to hunt that card. Again, this person will then drop a card, or we can draw a tactics card. So let's say they have this card, they have a 4. Again, I might try and play a 4 because I've already got an extra 4. If I can play it before then of course I will claim it. Now it's their turn, and they happen to play a 5. Oh, look at this, they're already going for a run over here, so they could be going for a straight flush. So the only way of me beating that is either doing it before they do, or of course maybe I want to go somewhere else. So I do have the 6, so I could play the 6 out, hoping to do it. But of course, now I have to go for the 5. All they need is the 6 or the 3. Again, I would have drawn up, and of course they would have drawn up too. And now, in this case, they've got an 8, so they could choose to go over here. That's going to give them a flush, which case is fine. They are then maybe winning because they have got flush, and if I can't then get the 5 with this particular banner, then they will claim it as well. So as soon as it's possible to prove that somebody else can't claim a battle line, then you will claim it, or battlefield as they're called. So what you're doing, you're playing down a card, you're then either drawing a card or a tactics card, and then again you're going to claim a battlefield. Now the advanced variant is whereby you're going to claim a battlefield at the start of the turn, which then doesn't give them a chance to then play down a card. Playing down a card can be good because eventually you're going to go, well, I really need this here, and I don't know, I really want to get 7, 8, 9 here, and I really want to go for 3 5s here, and I don't know, you've played this, and suddenly, you know, you're thinking, where else I want to go? You know, I want to play this over here to try and get a straight flush. I want to go here to try and get a straight flush, and suddenly it's like, well, I've got to play a card somewhere, and that's where the game comes down to. It's like, okay, well, now I've got this card, and I'm going to play it, you know, maybe here, and I've got this 2 here, which doesn't really work anywhere, so I might play it over here. A 9 doesn't really work anywhere, but as you can see, as it starts filling up, I can start seeing what they've got. See, this is a good point, 3. So that time I've got a straight flush, so I'll need a higher straight flush. I've got this 9 here, which, you know, I could go for a flush here. It's probably the best place to put it, but suddenly I'm giving up on that 5. Maybe they've got that 5, so now they can chuck it down, because let's say they've got, I don't know, a 3, then maybe they just want to go for a higher sum. You know, and that's how the game's going to play out. Ultimately, what's my view on this game? I think it's a great game, a 7.8 out of 10 for me at least. This is a game whereby you're constantly having to, you know, look at the situations. You know, statistically, there's a big element to that. I mean, the guy, designer, in fact, you know, Reiner happens to have a, I think, a doctorate, if not a bachelor's at the very least, in mathematics. So it's very crunchy, but at the same time, it's fairly smooth. I love the artwork. I like the fact that you go up from like a light infantry to a heavy infantry. So you can see this guy's obviously got like a fur back, but if you look at the 5-1, then that's a light infantry. You've got the same, obviously you've got a 9 here with a bannerman, but you've got some really cool approaches, advancements. So you've got crossbowmen, you've got the archers here, moving up to the halberdsmen with the 4, so check out my video for Terracotta Army, drummers, and then you've got, obviously, I think the 7, the light cavalry, and then you've got the King's Guards. So lots of fun going on in this game, highly replayable, and yeah, the tactics cards really, you know, it's a ever so subtle difference. They're not particularly overpowered, but equally they're trying to make sure you can have one card. Those kind of cards, again, they can give you a slight different variation on how you're playing. Do you want to just have an extra card of any wild that you want? Then, of course, when do you play it? So it's a very popular game. I very much enjoy it, and like I said, I highly recommend you check it out. Also check out Shod & Todd, as already mentioned. It's very, very similar. So yeah, great game, really interesting and playable, lots of fun, and yeah, this is a game I highly recommend you check out. It's very close to being on my sort of top 100 list. So there we go, that has been Battle Line, and it's called Medieval. Again, there are versions of Battle Line which aren't necessarily medieval settings as well. For now, back to the table.